This is Romo Dunze, and you're listening to the Ballsville podcast.
Thank you so much, man. Thank
you. And now, your host of the Ballsville podcast, Scott Fitzgerald.
Welcome in, Ballsville gamers, to another episode of the Ballsville podcast. I'm your host, Scott Fitzgerald, a.k.a. Lutes for Sale on Sleeper. And this episode is brought to you by the Ballsville Games. Our games combine fantasy football and poker, which create big payouts with great odds. All right, welcome in, gamers. Introduce you to my panel, my co-host, Bills Mafia, Sean S. Clem, with that crazy Aaron Rodgers picture in the background, with his ugly-looking face. That's awesome. Welcome in, Sean. And back again, our producer slash panel host. She is a big Chargers fan, Sarah M21. What is up, Sarah?
What's up? I brought my the other side. I brought my man crush, Justin Herbert, with me today.
Oh, look at that! Look at that! Those long flowing locks.
He cut that off, didn't he?
Yeah, I think he cut it off.
Yeah,
he cut it off.
I feel like that's what happened to him, man. He had that Samson syndrome.
So before we get into it, just want to let you guys know to please like and subscribe to our podcast. That helps a lot. Also, if you could go to the ballsvillegame.com, that is our website. A lot of good information on there for DFS purposes, for all your standings for all your leagues. A lot of good information on there, and actually it's really, really cool, and it's just evolving every day, so we work really hard on that. Please go on there and take a look. So we're going to get into it. Today's episode, we're going to do some news and notes. We're going to review the game from last night, which was horrible. We're also going to get into some mid and low stakes redraft wrap up, and we have quite a few trades to discuss today and some start sits for you guys for the weekend. So I'll get into the quarterbacks for the weekend. It looks like Russell Wilson is back. I think George Pickens went out and said that
he sucks at football.
Russell's going to get his start this weekend. Yeah, and I'm not crazy about it. I think they should stick with Justin Fields, but I'm not the coach. I don't make the decision. So it looks like Russell Wilson will get his first start this year. Anthony Richardson, it looks like he will start this week. Derek Carr will resume throwing on Saturday. So look for him to get back next week. They really need some quarterback in the lineup, because Spencer Rattler did not look good, even though he was running for his life. So look for that next week. And then Will Levis, obviously, they say he's questionable for his shoulder, but he will definitely be starting this weekend. We will get into the running backs. So it looks like we have, just scroll through here real quick. Let's see. Okay. Looks like Aaron Jones will be back this weekend against the Lions. Jordan Mason is up in the air still for his AC joint. Still looking like he's going to go. Travis Etienne's a game time decision. James Cook looks like he's going to play. We'll go to our Bills extraordinaire. Are we firing up James Cook there, Sean, or are we looking at maybe a split backfield here with James Cook and Ray Davis?
No, definitely James. If James is playing, then you got to play James. Number one, he's not only is he for sure their bell cow guy when he's healthy, even though Ray looked good. Ray actually popped up on the injury report this week, so I'm not even 100% that Ray's going to be fully healthy and able to even take on like the full workload he would have with a fully healthy James Cook. So, I would definitely not be wanting to play Ray this week, especially knowing that James was a full participant in practice, and there's no reason that he shouldn't take over his regular workload.
Okay, so you wouldn't even play. You wouldn't play Ray Davis as like a flex if you needed him, or just keep him.
I mean, if I was having some bye week issues and there was no options, like if he was fully healthy, like say they come out Sunday morning and they say, hey, he's GTG, then yeah, I'd play him over like, I don't know, maybe somebody like Dearness Johnson or something like that. Yeah. But like that's basically about where I have him, though. It wouldn't be unless I'm in dire straits.
All right, I'm gonna send this question. Same thing. Oh, first of all, Jonathan Taylor's did not practice Friday. He's most likely going to be out this week. And then this next situation, I'll throw it over to Sarah. Same thing I asked Sean. So you got Devin Singletary coming back. He will play week 7, but also you have Tyrone Tracy there. So is it the same situation with Cook and Davis where you're playing Singletary and not playing Tracy, or are you playing both of them, or just Tracy? I mean, what are you doing there?
I'm not playing Singletary this week. Even when he was the lead back, he wasn't giving anybody very many fantasy points anyway. So I'm either going to play Tracy or keep both of them on my bench and play a more reliable running back, because if they split too much, then neither of them are going to be reliable. But I mean, if you have room for Tracy, I would play Tracy. I don't think I'm playing Singletary anywhere unless I'm stuck.
Yeah, Brian Dable said that Tracy will get plenty of playing time this week. So
I agree. I think Tracy becomes the number 1 and 2 guy, and then like Singletary kind of has that passing down role.
Yeah, that's what it's looking like. Yeah, Tracy looks like the more explosive back anyway. So, and so yeah, I'd still think fire up your Tyrone Tracy shares.
Yeah, trade your Singletary shares if you can.
Yeah, for sure. Jonathan Brooks will not play this week. You probably got one more week for a full workload from Chuba Hubbard before we start talking about possibly a split backfield there. Ramondre Stevenson said he should be ready to play for Sunday. That's just another messy situation in the backfield with Gibson and him, and he really hasn't done too much this year. Nick Chubb is questionable. I would still probably tamper my expectations with Nick Chubb coming back from that devastating knee injury.
From what I read today, he's expected to play.
Yes, expected to play. Okay. Yeah, it does say he's questionable, but yeah, he's expected to play. Jerome Ford is out. So we'll see about Nick Chubb. I mean, I've always liked Nick Chubb.
Dude, it would be so Nick Chubb for him to just come out and have like 150 yard 3 touchdown game, wouldn't it? I mean, that would be such a Nick Chubb thing to do, 30 carries and just destroy it. Like, it really would, man. Like, I'm rooting for him. I hope he does well, but it's a long shot again. But if anybody can, that's the man for it right there.
Correct. Ajay Spears will not play with a hamstring, so it looks like another heavy workload with Pollard. He did have.
Where do you have him on your running back rankings, since he's playing a really bad run defense in Buffalo right now?
For Pollard?
Yeah, since now he's basically the bell cow against, like I said, like one of the bottom 5 run defenses.
Let me bring up the tool real quick.
I was going to say, where do we usually figure out what to do in these situations, Scott?
Yeah, we have to go to the ballsvillegame.com. We have to go to the tool section and check out my matchup tool that I update every Wednesday. So we're going to go right to the tool right here, and we're talking about the Tennessee Titans playing at Buffalo, which is a sieve run defense.
Mm-hmm.
So
I'm not happy about it, but I know.
So Pollard comes in at number 6, which is a very favorable matchup. The problem is the implied team total is only 16.5. So that's like 2 touchdowns. But Pollard has gotten 19 carries, all but 1 game. So he's a RB2, in your lineup. I think that's fair.
I think this week he's an RB1. I think season long he's a solid RB2.
Got you. All right, Devin Achane is clear concussion protocol and will play in week 7 against the Colts. So you got him. You have Raheem Mostert. I think they're going to be the 1-2 punch in that offense. So we'll see how. I'm assuming that, Sarah, do you think Mostert's going to be the first and second down, A-chain, third down, passing down, hurry up, kind of that kind of thing?
Yeah, maybe. I think A-chain might even get a little bit more than that, but it depends on how well he actually is or how healthy he actually is. But yeah, I think that definitely, I definitely think that I'm an A-chain fan. I always have been. Even when Scott was talking about he didn't like A-chain earlier in the year, and I was just kind of like, I don't know, man, I really like that kid. But I do think that if he's fully healthy for real, like I think he's going to even take more than that from Mostert in this game. But I'm not playing Mostert in most places anymore. So I mean, I think a lot of people still really like Mostert, and I see why. But he's not my favorite.
Great
Not my favorite play. Yeah, that's true. That's very true. That's very true. But yeah, I mean, they'll both eat for sure.
Yeah, I mean,
Right.
I'd play both of them over any of the Jaguar running backs right now.
Yeah, I would sit both of them.
Yeah, sure. All right, Brian Robinson Jr. is questionable. He's been questionable the last 2 weeks, and he's been playing. So except the 1 week he did sit out, and Eckler did get the start. Trey Sermon looks like he's off the injury report, so he'll pop in there for Jonathan Taylor. But I would keep an eye on Goodwin too. I think Goodwin's the third back there. He's been getting some run. Or Goodson.
Goodson. I think it's Goodson.
Yeah, he's been getting quite a bit of run too. So I would look out for see what that backfield's going to look like. But it looks like Sermon will get the initial touches. Let's see.
Talk about coming back from the dead, huh? Trey Sermon.
Yeah, no doubt. And then it looks like Zamir White's questionable for week 7, but that's just a whole nother terrible backfield.
I mean, that's even better though, honestly. Like I would in this situation, and I would just like, hey, go ahead and sit out White. Let's at least that way we got Eddie Madison owner confident and he'll get carries minimum. Like, you know, like if they're gonna be that bad of an offense, don't muddle it up with a dual backfield in the same sentence, you know.
Zamir White's probably my biggest letdown. Yeah, I took him in so many leagues.
Me too. I had him in a few leagues. Like he went slightly higher than I wanted him. So thank God I didn't grab him in most leagues, but I did get him in a couple of leagues. And unfortunately, it's the ones where I tried to go a little bit, against my flow and went receiver heavy and ended up trying to play the hero RB game, and it backfired big time.
Yep, thought you were looking good still. Oh, I still got Zamir White. I'm good.
Oh yeah, all those all those receivers look amazing preseason. You know, now the team's sitting at like 2 wins, and who knows what's coming.
I mean, that's one guy that I was really, really trying to get all year, and I just couldn't. I think I got him in maybe like 1 or 2 leagues, and I was bummed out that I didn't get enough of him, and now I'm glad I didn't get enough of him.
Right.
So bad.
Lucky.
I mean, that happens every year. There's always 1 or 2 guys that like, there's really no rhyme or reason why it didn't work out. It just all of a sudden it just doesn't, and everybody's just left on their face.
Yeah. So all right, looks like there's absolutely a chance Ricky Pearsall will suit up. 3-7 against the Chiefs.
As well.
Pardon me.
He's supposed to play. Like he's making his debut, from what I read.
Yeah, he'll be making his debut, so that'll be very interesting on how that all plays out with Ayuk.
Do you think that Ayuk has still got the potential to be traded before the trade deadline?
I don't think anybody wants him, to be honest.
I know, which sucks, because I really wish
I would not be surprised if he doesn't get traded for a lot less compensation to the Steelers. I would not be surprised, because I would bet the Steelers contract that they were going to offer him was more than what he ended up signing. Number one, because that was they had a contract worked out, them and Ayuk. So if that was the case, then it had to have been better than what San Fran was offering, right? So they're getting him for cheaper than they were going to get him for. You know, I mean, the only question is, do they hate him after 6 games of being not as productive as he was prior for whatever 3 years it was or whatever? So if that's the case and they still like him, now they might be able to get him for like a 3rd and a 5th rounder instead of like a fucking 2nd conditional or whatever.
Yeah, I think if I'm a team, I'm all hands off with that guy.
I don't know, man. I don't know. Pearsall's coming back now, and the way he's not fitting in the offense there, like I could see San Fran just like cutting bait, almost like Trey Lance and him.
Yeah, I mean, I'm sure they'd love to get rid of him and get rid of having to deal with him. It's just trying to find a buyer, but.
What if they pull like the whole
you only have to find one.
Kind of trade, throw the Stafford Goff trade, where they take they get like a 5th rounder back and they give up like a 2nd rounder in Ayuk or something.
Could be. What's up, JoJo's in the house. All
Happy
right.
Friday, JoJo.
Amari Cooper looks like he's expected to play for the Buffalo Bills. We have.
What do you think about that, Scott? Do you think he's actually going to do anything his first time out? Has he had enough practice to make a connection with Josh?
I think.
Yes.
I think it might be. I mean, he'll be okay. I just think. He knows it's not like he's a rookie coming in or a younger player. So I mean, I think he'll make a difference in that offense. I don't know how complicated that the offense is, but it's a little bit easier for a running back to go to a new team because all you really got to do is pick up no pass protection, but you're just running the ball up the middle or running to the outside, inside. But receivers, you got to route trees and the what do you call it, the hot routes and stuff like that. So, but Cooper's a veteran; he'll figure it out, and I'm sure.
Not only is he a veteran, though, he's probably seen more playbooks than 90% of the players in NFL right now, being that he's had so many different coaches and different stops and everything. So, whatever the offense that Joe Brady is running, I'm almost positive that Amari has dealt with at least a variation of it at some point in his career that, it's easier for him to understand.
Yeah, in a short amount of time.
I've never questioned Cooper's talent. I've always questioned his effort. I mean, there's been games I've watched where, he got banged up on a play and they're in the red zone. They got to score and he's standing on the sideline. And it's
when has he been on a winning team though? Like, let's literally honestly look at his career and how many times has he actually been on a winning squad? And he's probably maybe like 3 out of his 12 seasons in the league or whatever. Like, honestly, he's been on bad teams 90% of his career. So it's not to say that it's not like he's not trying, but it's a lot harder to stay motivated in a scenario when, you feel like there's a lot of things that are out of your control that are letting you down consistently.
I don't know. I kind of disagree with that. I think you should always be motivated by the mighty greenback. I mean, you're getting paid millions and millions of dollars to play a kid's game. That's not going to motivate you. I'm sure there's.
Hey man, let's not kid ourselves. Every single one of the players out there is motivated more by winning than they are by money. And that's how they got to the point where they're at. You don't work as hard as you do to get to the NFL if you're not motivated by winning just as much as money. If not,
well, yeah, you want to win, but he's the point of his career. We'll see. Like I said, I think it's a good fit. Like I even said I think it's a good fit. So we'll see what happens.
I think this is going to be one of those scenarios for him where he's going to be like feeling like he's in heaven compared to what he's gone through.
Okay, we will see. Deontay Johnson spotted at Friday's practice. He didn't practice Wednesday or Thursday, so he should be in. Michael Pittman's, he should be back, or he was spotted at Friday's practice. So I'm sure he'll be fired up. Malik Neighbors, he's expected to be in the game. He did have a little groin issue coming in, but he does not have a designation at all going into the game. So Malik Neighbors will be back, the alpha in that offense. Mike Evans didn't practice Friday, but he's a vet. He's expected to play. And then other than that, Cooper Kupp looks like he's going to be back. I saw some videos on him. He looked really, really good running in and out of breaks. So I think he's going to be 100% coming back. So fire him up. It's been long overdue. People need him bad in their lineup.
And that'll also really help with
update, please. Can we get a Puka update, please?
Well, that'll really be helpful for Matt Stafford owners too, though, to have someone that he likes to throw to a lot that can actually catch it and run.
Yeah. I think it'll help Whittington out a little bit too, to be honest with you guys, and help draw a little bit of coverage away from him and probably open him up with the way he can scheme players open there with McVay's offense.
Correct. This came across Jacoby Myers is doubtful for the weekend. So looks like Trey Tucker, JoJo, you're out there, and the Brockness Monster. Continue just to pepper Bowers with targets.
Brock is just going to take. I mean, Trey Tucker definitely disappointed last week. He was
So do you think in redraft next season that Brock Bowers is going to be TE1 in redraft, not dynasty, or not just dynasty, but also redraft, I should say?
I mean, I think he has to be just on volume alone. Especially I mean, he's already shown that he's quarterback proof. I mean, it really doesn't matter who you're throwing out there at quarterback. They're going to find ways to get him the ball. So could you imagine if, I'm just going to throw a name out there. It ain't going to happen. But if he had somebody like Dak Prescott or something throwing him the ball, or like a competent quarterback that can.
What about any one of these 4 or 5 top rookies that are coming out this year are going to be better than what he's dealt with?
Yeah, like I said, he's quarterback proof. And even if a rookie comes in, I mean, a rookie's best friend is his tight end. So, I mean, to me, and he's definitely, TE1, just on volume alone. I'm
with you, man. And he's got this uncanny ability to get open. It's so crazy to me how these like lumbery looking white boys like him and Travis Kelce and Sam Laporta and Kincaid, like it looks like they're lumbering out there, but like for some reason, man, nobody can keep up with them. It's unbelievable, dude. I love it.
When they do get caught, they just barrel through them or just drag them down the field.
They get open on routes all the time, and like just boggles my mind, man. It's like the nuances that they carry. Like I would love to have like a beer with Kelce and just sit and discuss with him all these like random little routes and just have an iPad and be like, dude, what did you do right here, dude, to get this like little 5'10" twitchy little bastard off of you, man?
Well, the thing with Bowers too is he's fast, so it's linebackers can't keep up with him. So that's the advantage he has is he's a 4'6" I think guy, 4'5", 4'6" guy. So I mean that's pretty fast for a big tight end like that. So looks like JoJo said had to get my Bowers props early before they get juiced. That's right.
JoJo, at least you got one guy on the team you can be happy about.
Yeah, for sure. Shakir looks like he's off the injury report. He's back in. Yep. Adams, he miraculously has a healed hamstring now, so he'll be in the lineup. We have Jaden Reed was removed from the injury report. He will play. Same thing with Christian Watson. Wicks is a true questionable tag, so we'll have to watch with him. Josh Downs is questionable. So there's a lot of questionables coming into this week, so just monitor everything on Saturday. Quentin Johnson didn't practice on Friday. So
nobody's playing him anyway. It's okay.
Yeah, I mean, have to. Harrison Jr. Is practicing in full. He'll be in. McConkey was limited. He'll be in. So that's pretty much it for the receivers. And we'll just
Harrison Jr. actually pass protocol and he's like GTG, or is he just practicing in full?
Yeah, he's full.
That final stage.
No, he's full. He's full. Yeah, he's going to play.
Oh, okay. Because I know that they have like a final stage, like they can practice at full participation, but they still have like one last stage they have to pass.
No, he's ready to go. TJ Hawkinson is questionable for week 7. I'm thinking it's going to be probably one more week. That's what it's looking like. One more week. I'm sure they want to get him in against the Lions' old team.
I know Ken does.
Yeah.
Maybe he might be able to get a couple games before he gets hurt again.
Yeah, Ken's running out of weeks here, so I know he wants him back in the lineup. Big one here. Dalton Kincaid had a little collarbone issue. He's off the injury report, and he will be playing week 7. So. Fire up Dalton Kincaid. We'll see how.
Yeah, I put my Miyagi hands on him this weekend and kind of gave him one of these, and
we'll see how his target share gets affected by Amari Cooper. Tyler Conklin is questionable. Evan Ingram's off the injury report. Here's a big one. Dallas Goedert is ruled out for week 7. So I can't remember the backup tight end's name, but he was actually
Grant Calcaterra.
Yeah, he definitely had some work last week. So if you were holding out hope and you had Goddard and you have nobody else, I'm pretty sure Calcaterra is on waivers for you. Tucker Kraft will play this weekend, and Hayden Hurst did not practice Friday for the Chargers. What are we looking at, Sarah? Will Dissly?
Yeah, for sure. I mean, Smart does get about like a catch here too, like every once in a while when they're out of tight ends, but Smart has actually gotten some touchdowns too when they're
all those touches are going to go to Vidal.
I mean, yeah. Honestly, I wouldn't play either of them unless you were desperate.
Vidal's going to be the man this week.
Oh, I had such a bad move yesterday, so I sat Javonte Williams for Vidal, and I look like
you don't know that it's a bad move yet, but it's going to be a difficult.
He has the game of his. he has the game of his career, the game of his life, and he's on my bench.
But it's not like the Saints defense are known for being like really bad either. So it wasn't like anticipated that he was going to come in and just blow up this game either.
Yeah, well, we'll segue right into that game. What a nightmare game yesterday. It was so boring unless you're a Javonte Williams owner.
Being switched over to the Cleveland Yankees game.
Yeah. I mean, how bad can it get? Cortland Sutton, they interviewed Peyton at halftime and said, how are we going to get Sutton more involved? And
by not getting him involved.
Sutton didn't have one target yesterday. So he got you a huge donut yesterday, which was awful. But yeah, Bo Nix was Bo Nix. I mean, this is what you're going to get out of Bo Nix all year. You're going to get, 61% completion percentage, not a lot of yards, but you're going to get some running out of him. He had 75 yards. So it's, that's what you're going to get out of Bo Nix for now.
What was his average yards per completion? Like his depth of pass? It had to have been like less than 3 yards.
Yeah, I don't know. As long as his longest was, he had a 30-yard pass.
Oh yeah, I thought it was
his yard per average was 6.3, so 6 yards pass. So it's basically chuck down.
Two long ones and a bunch of small ones.
Yeah, so nothing too exciting like out of the run game except for if you had Javonte, he did get 2 tutties for you, and he also chipped in with 3 receptions out of the backfield. Troy Franklin led the team in targets. I did read earlier in the week that he was going to be heavily involved. I guess we could take our Marvin Mims shares and just flush him down the toilet at this point.
He got one.
So
I feel like Vance Joseph should be the head coach because that defense is the only reason that team is any good.
And they didn't have Patrick Surtain either. So
yeah, they haven't had him for a couple of weeks, and they're still playing lights out.
Yeah. So and as far as the Saints side, and we were talking about this in pre-show prep. I kind of said it earlier in the year. If you invested in Alvin Kamara, he was everyone's all excited in the beginning of the year, running back 1. And I said, you know what? Maybe it's time to sell those shares. He did not look good yesterday. He was 1.4 yard a carry. Kendra Miller looked a lot more explosive.
I thought we agreed not to talk about this until I traded him away.
Well, we gotta kind of help the viewers that do own him, and try to get, if you can even get anything from him. I mean, you'd have to, JoJo, he's playing hurt. Here we go again with the hurt thing. He just
what 30-year-old doesn't play hurt, man?
He had a hurt hand. I don't, so as far as I'm concerned, unless he had another injury, I don't know, but I would still look to, if you can find somebody to unload him, I think I would unload him if you can afford to. I mean, I don't know. But Kendra Miller looked a lot more spry, but he hasn't really been healthy either. So he'll have to stay healthy. As far as the receiving game, we were hoping to get a little bit more out of Bub Means. He did get 5 targets for 3, but Cedric Wilson was the one that caught 6 out of 7 targets and did get the box. It was just an ugly game on the Saints offense. Rattler looked terrible. He didn't have a lot of time to pass though either. He did go
on Rattler.
I mean, he did go 25 for 35 and was 71% completion percentage, but he had a couple bad fumbles and just a lot of he just didn't have a lot of time to throw the ball. So the Saints are going in the wrong direction, and so I'm gonna send it over to you, Sean. Is there anything else in this game that excited you, or were you watching baseball?
I mean, not really. I mean, there was nothing exciting going on in this game, really, other than like obviously Denver's defense is for real. And if you have a defensive league, you might as well pick them up if they're out there, or play them if you have them on your bench, because they're pretty much like killing it right now. And but I know they have a tough schedule coming up in the next few weeks with I want to say they play the Chiefs and the Ravens. I feel like back to back or something like that. So, that I would probably sit them during those 2 weeks, but otherwise you can basically plug and play them for the rest of the season.
I feel like Rattler didn't get really like a good chance during this game to show anything, because he really didn't have time to do anything. He kept getting snuck up on in these. I mean, it was like nobody was even blocking, but also at the same time, you got to think about Cedric Wilson's catches. A lot of them came in junk time when they brought in a lot of like all the backups and stuff. That's when he was getting more of that. So I'm not sure if that means anything for Cedric Wilson. But yeah, I mean, I feel like they just benched a bunch of their starters and then
agree with you on Wilson.
like two big passes.
That's the best.
Wilson is going to be their guy moving forward until Olave's back. I do. I think the only reason he was in the junk time is because he's still new to the team and he's still trying to figure things out. And so I think he's getting to a point now where he's got that kind of understood. My honest opinion is if Carr doesn't play, it'll be Jake Haener starting next week too. Because the way that the way that offensive line looks right now, it's not fair to have Rattler in there yet. He's not quick enough processing as a rookie to be able to handle that type of pressure. So they need to put Haener, and you saw as soon as Haener came in for that last few minutes, I know it was junk time and all, but he got that ball out like in less than 2 seconds.
Yeah.
Every pass play that he had because he read the hot route pre-snap, and as soon as they blitzed like they were doing all game, he just hit the hot route each time. So that's something that Rattler just wasn't ready for yet.
You're right. You're definitely right about that. And
Denver also had their backups in too. So
and you're playing. Into Rattler's defense, you're playing one of the top defenses in the league. He was sacked 6 times. He was running for his life. So, he was efficient, 25 for 35. I mean, that's pretty good. For 71%. His yards per attempt was only like 5, but like I said, he didn't have any time to pass. So it's a little unfair. Should Haener be the starter? Yeah, I think so. Until
honestly, after seeing the way they played, Haener should have been the starter anyway. They should not have put him in that position. He's a rookie. He's not ready for that yet. And, that's the kind of game that could really hurt his development.
Mm-hmm.
Right. So, all right, we're going to move on before we get into our mid stakes and low stakes. I want to go to Sarah and then I'll go to Sean and get their analysis on this. So, what are we going to do with this new 3-headed monster backfield in Tampa? So we have Sean Tucker, we have Bucky Irvin, and we have Rachaad White. So, Sarah, how do you think this backfield is going to play out going forward?
Strictly guessing, right? Not from any information whatsoever, just not guessing, but like evaluation. I mean, I feel like they can't completely give up on White yet because because they seem to like him so much, regardless of if we like him or anything like that, Sean Tucker, how long has he been on that team now?
He's been on the team the whole year.
But he wasn't on it last year? He wasn't on. I could have sworn he was on Tampa Bay last year too.
You know what? I don't know.
I could have sworn he was their third back.
He might have been a rookie last year, so I think he was on the team last year too.
Yeah, I just feel like they're finally going, oh, maybe he can do
something. If you remember with Sean Tucker, he was supposed to be he was out of Illinois. He was supposed to be a high coveted back coming out of college, but he had like a heart issue. And so everyone passed on him. So last year he was like in a medical, he had a medical issue last year. So he didn't see any time last year, but he was a good back coming out of college.
Okay, that's why he didn't see anything. Yeah.
Because he was undrafted because of his heart.
Right.
So yeah. So
I'm pretty clueless on what the hell they're going to do. Honestly, I'm clueless. I mean, like, hey, sometimes people get lucky, have a good game. Sometimes it's like it's meant to be. I really have almost no idea like what they're going to do. I mean, I think that Bucky has proven that he can do stuff, and Rachaad White last year was doing a lot more. So it's like, I feel like if Rashaad's back and healthy, they won't be able to help but keep them in the top 2, even though Rashaad's probably going to just get barely, not even half as many touches as he did before. But I literally have no clue. It's like, what can you do? Are they going to trade somebody? Going to trade Rachaad? Like what should they do?
Well, I know Sean's on the phone, so I'll take over here.
Oh, no, sorry. I was in the middle of trying to trade away all of my shares of any Buck running back that I have.
Oh, I thought you were.
I am in the process
of
selling.
Rachaad White's agent. So before I do my take, what about you, Sean? What do you think? How do you think that?
That's
how do you
exactly
think
how I feel. I do not want anything to do with any of those 3 guys right now. I don't think even Tampa Bay knows what they're going to do with those 3 guys right now. So why should I act like I do? I'm just going to move on as much as possible. I'll take what I can get, especially Rachaad White. He is the guy to me that is odd man out. I think that He's proven that he's not capable of being like a stud back. And I think the other two have shown enough flashes that it's their turn. Rashid White is like, I want to say he's either on his last year of his deal or second to last year, to where he's an easy expendable player at this point. So to me, he's the one that I try to move right away. And then, you know, the other two, I would definitely try to get what I can for him right now, because I don't know if they're even going to be getting the type of, you know, share that's going to make either of them like a startable player that you're comfortable starting. You know, you could maybe throw him in a flex role when you need to, but you're not going to be like, I'm definitely playing this guy. I'm totally stoked on having this guy in my lineup. He's sitting in my RB spot, not my flex spot. I don't see that from any of them.
Got you. So the way I look at this is, I think the Buccaneers is definitely they're a passing offense first. Mayfield's been really good this year. He was good at the tail end of last year. They have receivers. They're definitely a passing offense. Rashad White's shown he cannot run between the tackles. He can catch the ball, but you know what? Bucky Irving can catch the ball too. And Sean Tucker looks really, really good. Bucky Irving looks really good. So yeah, the odd man out for me is Rashad White. I'd be looking to trade him to a running back needy team. You don't need 3 running backs there. Keep the 2 young guys. Bucky Irving's proven that he can do both run the ball and catch the ball. And then Tucker looked really good last week too, doing the same thing. So I know it's only a 1-week sample with Sean Tucker, but we've seen 2 or 3 weeks of Bucky Irving. And so I think if Todd Bowles does the right thing, I know he's a defensive guy, but if he does the right thing, I think the Rashad White experiment is coming to an end, and it should have been coming to an end weeks and weeks ago. So
years ago.
Yeah. So that's my take.
He pulled it off last year somehow.
So yeah,
with his short catches.
When you catch, 10 2-yard passes a game, it's easy to act like you're a good fantasy
Well, he was getting in the end zone and he would take some of those runs. I mean, look, I had him in a lot of fantasy. He got me a lot of points. So he's clearly doing more than that. You know what I mean? Like he was doing his job for them. It was just very slow.
I feel if you can't get rid of Rashad White now, once
you can't
Cat gets out of the bed after this week or next week, it's over. You're stuck with him because no one's going to.
Yeah, I mean, everybody's been disappointed with him this year, and then after this last week, I don't think anyone wants to buy him anyway.
Right. What would you take for him right now? Would you take a mid-third rounder?
I mean, I would hope for a second rounder, but
if I could get an early third, I would ship him off for an early third.
Yeah,
I'm there with you. I think I'm there with you. Or like maybe take like a mid-third with like some sleeper guy, like a deep sleeper guy that I like that maybe nobody else has much of an eye on.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, you could, because it's the situation's gonna it's gonna play itself out in the next couple weeks. It's gonna be for sure. Best case scenario, it's not going to be a one back system. It'll be a 2-back, and someone's going to be left out, and it's looking like it's going to be White. Like I said, it should have been a long time ago. All right, we will move into our mid stakes. So Tuesday we did high stakes. This week we're going to do mid stakes and low stakes. Yeah, that's right. JoJo said Tucker was a practice squad player last season. Yep, you're right, because of the medical issue. We're going to get into our mid stakes, and we're going to run through each league and kind of give everybody their props. So we're going to look at mid number 1. It's Raiden. And we have a 5-1 team. It's rookie. He's got 890 points. We got Tico Latte, 848. K-Doggy Dog at 937. The Dude.
Oh, it looks like our website has not updated with the current week. This is last week's rankings. They're showing it 4-1 on here.
Oh, mine says 5-1. Did you refresh yours?
This is off of the website, so we just might not have updated our website rankings yet onto the actual website. That's all it is. Where are you looking at exactly, Scott?
I'm on the website.
Well, then let's refresh this website because you might be correct. That is so crazy. Let's look here and see. And look at that.
Wow,
the difficulties are over.
He's had it open for 5 days.
I know that.
I do leave it open and try to refresh it on a regular basis. So that's probably exactly what happened. It's just been open forever.
So anyways, so looking at rating here, what sticks out to me is you got K-Doggy Dog at 937 points, and he's sitting at third, at 4-2.
Wow.
Another thing that sticks out is the dude. He has not spent $1 of fab, and he is sitting at 4-2, which isn't a bad spot. So he must not like shopping like most people do. So that is mid number one. We will go to number two, and that is Smoke. And we got Mike's the Guy at 899. We got T Zillin 18 at 867. There's K Doggy Dog again at 837.90. Themis Popoff at 821. And looks like Grizz Tony just got knocked out of the top four by a few decimal points there at 821. So nothing crazy sticks out except for right there. Themis Popoff hasn't spent a dime in fab. So, but looks like a pretty even keeled league. K Doggy Dog is in another league in the top four. So that's Smoke number two. Number three, we got Sub-Zero. We got Philip 3988. He's broken 1,000 points, 1,010. So that's a really good squad. Mike's the Guy again, 914 at 5-1. And also Philip is with 1,000 points at 6-0. Short stacks 4-2 at 880. There's JoJo, number 4 at 851. And what stands out to me like a sore thumb is the Prosudo Legends 2. Philip is 6-0 with over 1,000 points scored.
Wow.
So, congratulations. And he's actually had some points scored against him too. So it's not like he's playing a bunch of low scoring teams every week. So congrats to you, Philip. We will go to mid number 4, my favorite league. I'm not even.
How's it go? How do you say it, Scott?
I think it's Knob Selbot. I think it's called.
I love it.
So anyways, so we have Cash 3 coming in at number 1, 935. Team Brady, he's comes in at 886. Mr. Ben, 875, and Chiefs Life at 848. And Finch GDX comes in, he's just outside at 874. So he's got a pretty good score. So what sticks out to me here is you got 2 owners that don't have any fab left. Mr. Ben and Cash are out of ducats. No more spending for them.
Yeah, well, they can sell somebody for some fab, but that's about it.
Yep. And then, all right, so that's mid 4, not slot. So we're going to go to mid 5, Liu Kang. And at the top, we got Ducky Roosters, Mr. Ben at 954. Mike's the Guy again. It's 758. So you're going to see a lot of these guys are in a lot of these leagues, and they're doing really well, being in the top 4. Cheeky Hobson at 949 at number 3. Chiefs Life number 4 at 845. So what sticks out to me here is, again, Mr. Ben doesn't have any money left. He is out. So no money left for Mr. Ben. Cheeky Hobson's got a pretty nice score, 949.
Look at the points for Mike's the Guy. He's 5-1, but he has the lowest point score on the screen at 758. Yep. Almost 100 points lower than the next lowest guy.
Yep. That's another thing that sticks out right there. Yep. So he had some favorable matchups. So
and it's weird to see him at that good of a record having a higher points against than points for too. I mean, that's crazy.
Yeah. So we're at the point now where we're getting into these leagues now where we've gone 6 games and we're kind of seeing who are the the good teams and who are the pretenders. So let's move on to League 6, Kung Lao. So we have Eddie Money 18, 6-0, 839.
Wow.
Adrenaline Mob at 5-1, 853. Themis Popoff, he's back again at 907 and third. And we have what is that? Carlson Neal 42.
Charles O'Neill.
Carlson Neal 42.
Charles O'Neill.
Oh, Charles O'Neill.
Girls.
814. He is in fourth. So
Notice that fifth has 927
and that's what I was going to say. Sorry for cussing. Ripley's Believe It or Not is 927. He's sitting in fifth at
3-3. That's crazy.
Why?
Crazy.
Yeah, a lot of points scored against them. Adrenaline Mob's out of cash. No more money for him. We will go to number 7, Reptile. And at the top is K Doggy Dog at 5-1 at 907 points scored. Team Cash 3, 887. Excuse me. Team Chiefs Life, 821 is third at 4-2 at Pablo Escobar. Look at Pablo Escobar, 982, 3-3. So yeah, that kind of sticks out right there. 3-3 at 982, 855 points scored against them.
Look at this, 110 for the poor guy in fifth.
Yeah, we'll say Chadwick, 0304. Pretty good score, 871, but yeah, he's getting pounded every week. 910 points.
Yeah.
Crazy. And cash again. And then cash is out of dollars too. We will go to mid 8. So mid 8 is to let you listeners know, this was a mixture of our pod hosts and some gamers. So you'll see a lot of familiar names of people that were on the pod. Coming in at number 1 is JoJo. Lack of decorum. 942 at 5-1. We got the good old boy Connor Seabaum coming in at 5-1. He's 871. Mr. Ben, 4 Horsemen, comes in at 920. And Mr. Ben likes to spend money, but I guess in this league he must have a good enough team. He's not spending any money. Still got $97. Jamar Mar Binks, 4-2 at 80.
Oh, my fantasy name, by the way. I used that name already. Although we both probably Googled it and found it the same way.
So it looks like we have 3 gamers in the top 5 and 2 pod hosts in the top 5. Or in the top 5. So pretty good there. So we'll move on to number 9, which is Katana. And look who's at the top. Neighbors think I'm selling weed. 6-0. I'm 43, and I've been without Malik for 2 weeks. So I get him back in the lineup. Hopefully I can keep this undefeated season going.
He's a threat.
Team Cash comes in at number 2 at 5-1, 888. There's Mr. Zoobs. Team Zoobs, 4-2, 946. And what's up, brothers? Sorry for cussing, comes in at number 4 at 840. And just outside the top 4, Mr. Ben, the Brady Bunch, 917 points. Hasn't spent a dime in fab, and he's had 903 points against. Now, I am 6-0, but you can see I'm a little lucky on who I play every week because I've only had 725 points scored against me. So, but you can only play the team that's in front of you, like they say in the NFL. And we will go to our last league, mid 10. What is that? Tsunami? What is that name? I can't even say that.
It's the Sang Shun, the bad guy. I can't remember how you say his name now. Sang Shun or something like that.
All right.
I can't remember his name.
Thanks for helping me out, Sean.
I tried.
A big 5-point. He raised 5 points in the standings, and that's the Punishers. Mr. Ben in first, 4-2, 867 points. Puka Debooty, sorry for cussing, 864, 4-2. Cash 3, a wing and a prayer, 863. He's out of money. And Team Short Stack 11, 844, coming in at 4th. So, like I said, Cash is out of ducats. And league looks pretty up and down as far as points wise, really, really close. So
not record wise though. Every single one of them is tied at 4-2.
One's at 4-2. So
I mean, they're all basically in first.
Yeah. So pretty good league there. So that's our mid stakes. leagues, and now we will roll down to our low stakes leagues. And these were $25 buy-ins. Mid stakes were 50, and high stakes was 100. So we will go to low stakes one, and that's Alpha. I don't think there's any other name after that. Team Punisher.
It says Elf, actually.
Yeah. Is it Elf? Yeah, Elf. So Team Punisher, 915s in first. K Doggy Dog. His name again at 4-2, 884. Team Themis Popoff, 4-2 at 801. And coming in fourth is TB76. He's a Carolina fan. I know we had him on the pod one time. 878. And JoJo, Neighborhood Hero, is just outside the top 4. Themis Popoff hasn't spent a dime, neither has TB76, so that's pretty impressive. Themis Popoff, look at that points again, 669. So that's a pretty low points against.
How did he lose 2 games? Jeez.
Yeah, he must have had some really bad scores. Now, if you haven't noticed already, we've only had one team so far over that cracked the 1K mark. So see if there's anybody else that's cracked the 1K mark.
How many undefeated teams have we seen so far?
We've seen two so far. So
and who was the owners of those 2?
I think one was Mr. Ben and one was myself.
Oh, okay.
Yes. And I am 6-0 because I went and I used all the great tools that I have on the ballsvillegame.com to help set my lineup.
So wait a minute, you're telling me that you won all these fantasy games by going to the ballsvillegame.com every week?
I won all those games going to the ballsville.com game, along with all my DFS winnings every week, along with JoJo and Zubicus. We're just winning money there. You guys got to get on there. Use those tools.
That is amazing. I'm telling you, starting today, I'm going to go to the ballsvillegame.com every week. That is amazing.
Get in there. Get all the good information from there. All right, low 2 beta. Just in the Nico time, TB76 is 5-1, 935. No names, just numbers. 909, 76 at 4-2. K Doggy Dog, he is in the top 4 in a lot of these leagues. 799. And Brandon 208, 757. So a couple low scores under 800 at 3 and 4. But that kind of sticks out to me right there in this league. So, and like I said, TB76 is 5-1 in this league. So that's low 2 beta.
So what you're telling me is we know who goes to theballsvillegame.com and uses the tools, don't we?
We do. Low 3 gamma. Alan Wrench almost cracked the 1K. 997.80. 5-1. Team Billy B. 5-1 at 872. Team Honcho Jack 41, 931. He hasn't spent a dime. And there's TB76 again, Finding Debo at 845. Team Honcho Jack, 931, good score. A lot of points against him. So he more points against than 4. Hasn't spent a dime, and he's sitting at 4-2. So not too bad. And then, like I said, Alan Wrench almost cracked the 1K mark. So that's low 3 gamma. We'll go to low 4 delta. Pecos Parachute School. There's the crack the 1K mark, 1,036. That's our second team that's cracked the 1K mark. Team Kinetic 15, 878.
Way to sound it out.
I know. I'm terrible. Team Themis Popoff, again, 840. And then Super Camario at 840. So, like I said, what stands out is that 1K points for Pecos. So congrats there. We will go to low 5. Epsilon. Team Jimmy Wojo. We haven't seen in a while in the chat.
Right.
5-1. There's another team cracked the 1K mark, 1,006. Team Stu 6923 is 861. The TC show 8:38. Fireballs at 8:42. So looks like the show's out of cash. And then, like I said, Jimmy Wojo cracked the 1K mark. That's low number 5. We go low 6. Zeta. Gaio 55 is 913. Themis Popoff, again, 4-2, 911. C Sims 52 at 815. K Doggy Dog, again, 3-3 at 885. Team Themis Popoff hasn't spent a dime yet, so good for you. That's low 6. We'll run through these real quick. Low 7, Kappa. Jason 124 at 971 hasn't spent a dime, and he's 5-1. There's Grizz Tony, 4-2 at 863, hasn't spent a dime. CT Show is spent everything, 838, 4-2, and C Sims 52 is 816. JoJo is just outside the top 4 with 925 points. Oh, sorry to hear about that, JoJo. Low 8, Omicron. At the top, JoJo 5-1, 973. TB 76, 913. Grizz Tony, there's Grizz Tony 886, and Sean Mac 24 at 830. So congrats to JoJo at the top, getting close to that 1K mark. That is low 8. Low 8. So we will go to low 9. And Mad Dog Hoik sitting at 6-0 at the top, 933. Team JoJo's right on my heels at 920, 4-2. Finn's 0913 at 898. There's Grizz Tony at 4-2 at 871. So another undefeated team sitting right there, Mad Dog Hoik.
Can one of you guys please beat Scott so that we don't have to listen to undefeated Scott all season long?
So low 10, the last
Start using the tool.
Omega Blood Cube, 934 at 5-1. Carson Peeve, 875. He hasn't spent a dime at 4-2. Big Tima Z420 is 962. He's out of cash at 3-3. And there's Chiefs Life again, 3-3 at 957. So that one runs through our mid and low stakes for you guys. So we'll try to do that every week. We'll do the highs on Tuesday and the mids and lows on Friday. So now we are going to get into our favorite part of the show, and I can't remember the name, Sean. What is the name?
It's the Trade Talks.
Bingo, Trade Talks.
Well,
Sarah, are you excited about Trade Talks?
I am. I have an offer in my inbox that I'm going to ask you guys about once we go through these too.
Yeah, and also, yeah, there are a lot of Ballsville regulars on these leaderboards. We've had, like I said, Cash and been doing this, and Chiefs Lifes, and Demas Popoff, and Grizz Tony, and there's TB76. So yeah, there's a lot of guys that are in multiple leagues supporting Ballsville, and they are rewarded with sitting in the top 4 of the standings, and hopefully they can finish that off at the end of the year. So I want to welcome in Alejandro Hernandez, our leader in the chat, and his wife, Fran. Hello to both of you. And all right, let's get into these trades.
All right.
All right, I'm going to let you take this over. You're the trade guy, Sean, so go ahead and break it down.
Absolutely. You just don't want to have to say these names. I get it.
No, I'm tired.
All right. This one was in our Skillerix League. This took place on the 12th of December. This is a trade between C-Bomb and Captain Bubbles. We got C-Bomb getting Jordan Addison, and he is sending away Darnell Mooney and Spencer Rattler. And this is a 12-team Dynasty Superflex.
Okay, so I always like to acquire the quarterbacks in these situations, especially being a Superflex. But you know what? I'm gonna side with the best player in the deal, and I'm gonna take Addison. I really like Addison. I've been telling people to try to trade for Addison in your dynasty leagues. I think having JJ on the other side of him really opens things up for him. And he's a really good player in that offense. And no matter if Darnold or J.D. McCarthy go from here on out, I think that offense is just going to keep humming. So, yeah, if I can acquire Addison, I will do that. Go ahead, Sarah.
I think this is a really fair trade. I like both sides. I like Mooney a lot, so I would probably take that side of it. The only reason why, if we're looking at this now, the only reason I'm like about it is just because we still don't know what Rattler can do with the right offense. You know what I mean? Or with like a line that actually stops guys from getting there in 2 seconds. So like I like the Mooney and Rattler side because of the upside of it, but I also like the Addison side. I think it's a very fair trade.
Okay, and before we get into Sean's, don't forget, you guys in chat, write in your start sit questions. We're going to answer them. I got the matchup tool up. We're going to answer these questions for you guys start sit. So go ahead, Sean.
I'm kind of so we got to keep in mind too that this trade took place on the 12th. So to me, I feel like this trade is I need a quarterback this week, help me out here kind of scenario. So he basically was like reaching for whoever he could get that was going to actually start. So that's my guess anyways. So I think he kind of gave up a little more than he probably wanted to with Addison, but he got back, Mooney, who I think is a solid play. I wouldn't put him at Addison's level, but he's close. I'd maybe like a wide receiver 3 compared to a wide receiver 2 kind of thing. So it's not horrible. I just think that I probably would have asked for maybe like a second rounder or something, to throw in the deal, because I'm just not sure Rattler is going to be anything as a future asset. So I would want some sort of a extra compensation there. But otherwise, it's not horrible, especially if you needed the quarterback to play, then I wouldn't worry about chasing the compensation if you were that in dire straits.
Is this not a dynasty?
It is a dynasty league, but my guess is that this was probably that. Like, he was probably hurting at quarterback. Maybe he had Carr, and he wanted to get Rattlers so that he had like that backup scenario.
That would make sense, yeah. It being a dynasty, though, you don't have to be that desperate to want like a young quarterback that's probably going to be a starter.
Yeah, I mean, Rattler definitely has, he looked better last week prior when this trade was made than he did on Thursday. So, it's definitely not a terrible move at all.
Yeah.
All right, next.
All right, let me get there we go. So this one here, we don't have a league specifically. I'm assuming this is not part of the Ballsville group. So the only notes that we had is that the team giving up the 25 first is 6-0. So assuming that means the 25 first will be a late pick. So in this trade, we have Sleeper Team 1 and Sleeper Team 2. Team 1 received CeeDee Lamb and Brandon Ayuk, and they sent to Team 2 Chris Olave, Puka Nacua, and a 2025 first. So I'm a little bit kind of back and forth on this one right now, I guess, just because of how bad Brandon has looked. And, CeeDee hasn't looked like he's that far ahead of all 3 of those assets together. Maybe you wash the 2025 first and Ayuk, maybe. It still doesn't quite reach it for me. So I think I'm leaning towards the Olave Puka side for the long-term value.
Yeah, you know what? I kind of breaking it down like this. I think if you go for even though it's a late first, if you do a first and Puka for Lamb, then you're looking at Olave for Ayuk. So that's how I break it down. So I love CeeDee Lamb, but I just think it's enough. It would have been nice if that first might have been like a mid first. But you know what? I still like the pieces with Olave, Nacua, and a first.
Yeah, I mean, and the team that's sending away the players, he had Olave, Puka in the first, so he didn't really have those players like really bringing a ton of value prior throughout the 6-0 run. So there's not a lot to say that he won't stay running well and be able to continue to have like a good record in this league. So like his team must be built enough to be able to survive the loss of those 2 guys because they haven't played really well all season anyway. So that's I definitely feel like it's a good move for both teams on this end because he obviously wanted to get value for this season to make a run if he's sitting at 6-0. So he gave up more value to the other player to get players that he thinks will put him there.
What about you, Sarah?
No, I agree with everything you guys are saying. I have nothing contradictory. I do believe that before the last 2 weeks, Lamb was worth 2 firsts or Puka a first and like a second. To be honest with you, like he was going for a lot more than just Puka and a first, So, I mean, for me, like it seems like Sean said, CD got sold for. I mean, I don't know if that's. I don't know. Olave and Ayuk have both been a little disappointing this year, even though Olave's probably got more of an upside. But yeah, I think that it's a little bit more on the Puka, Olave, and first side, but only a little bit, to be honest with you. But yeah, I mean, I agree with what you guys are saying. It's a good trade, and I would probably take the first and Puka just because I don't believe in Ayuk
more scenarios, right? Like the team that got CD and Brandon Ayuk is making a run, and the team that got Olave Puka in the first is obviously planning towards 2025. So, I think it's a good trade for both sides, and everybody kind of wins in this deal.
Yeah, totally.
All right, next.
All right, so this one is in one of our leagues. It's the Deathwing League, and this play took place on the 17th. This was Lovejohn and Captain Bubbles. So Lovejohn received Amon-Ra St. Brown and Devon Achane, and he sent to Captain Bubbles, Jamison Williams, Breece Hall, and a 2025 third. So I'll let you guys break this one down first. One of you two start out, and I'll take a second to evaluate.
Okay.
I know, right? Everybody needs a second to evaluate, it sounds like. So basically, go ahead, Scott.
I mean, I think this one's really, really, really close. Right. I mean, I really like St. Brown, but I really like Breece Hall, especially this news now that Adams is there. I think it's just going to open up more running lanes for Breece Hall.
And they look better running wise with the new offensive coordinator also.
Yeah. And I mean, Jamison Williams, I don't think he'll ever be an alpha where St. Brown, is. Everyone knows my take on Shane. I think he's just a gadget back, a satellite back. He's never going to be a workhorse. And then the third back. I mean, this probably isn't going to be popular, but I'm going to take the Breece Hall side. I want the elite back. He's still young. I think the offense is going to be good. The third, depending where it is, if it's an early third, it still has some value. And then Jamison Williams, he's a good complementary piece, but at least he's in a good offense, and they do use him. But it's really, really close. But I would take.
Surprises me, Scott, being that you're such a wide receiver guy.
Yeah. And trust me, I really want to go to St. Brown. I just wish that it was somebody else besides Chan.
What do you think?
I love J-Mo. Actually, I think that even though he might not have the ability to be like a big of a name as St. Brown, I think that he's very quietly going to just get you a ton of fantasy points, especially now. I mean, he's like very clearly,
he's like Mike Williams was in his heyday.
Don't even get me started on Big Mike. But yeah, no, just like, yeah, I really like the J-Mo and Breece Hall side as well, even though I do love Achane. This is one of those ones, again, this is a really good trade. I would be happy with either side of these. I slightly want to lean towards St. Brown and Achane, but like J-Mo and Breece Hall is kind of like, that's pretty cool. That's pretty nice. I guess the only question mark for me is, does J-Mo keep this up? Does this happen next year too? Is he going to keep this up all year? Or is this just kind of like, because everyone's on St. Brown there, he's getting it to J-Mo. You know what I mean? So I think that's my only question mark from that side.
All right, I'm very disappointed in the both of you right now. I really am, because we have done so many Love John trades, and we finally have a trade where we can say, Love John, you kicked some ass and you took some names, and neither of you guys are willing to give the man the love he deserves.
Yeah, I said it's a really good trade.
It's not a terrible trade. I mean, it's not like he got ripped off.
Hey, this is an Achane and St. Brown win all day, every day, and twice on Saturday. This is amazing for you, Love John. You did amazing here. Pat yourself on the back. Tell your wife to pat you on the back. Cook you up a nice little the game. You are going to win some games based on this trade, my friend. Good job, dude. Good job.
All right, and send Sean a Christmas card.
I can't believe you guys, man. All the times that we've sat here and said Love John do better, and then Love John does better, and you guys can't even give him the props.
It was better, and like I said, if
Yeah.
a Chan could turn. I just don't long term. I still consider a Chan a satellite back, and
see, Alex agrees with me, so that's 2 for 2. So hey, we need a fifth. We need a tiebreaker.
No, Sarah and I are definitely in the minority because I know if JoJo was on here, he would take the chain side.
Yeah.
If Ken was on here, he would probably take the chain side.
Again, I'd be happy with both of these sides, though. I mean, I like both of these sides.
I understand Scott because I know Scott hates on HM, but you, Sarah,
I really like JMO.
From you.
I really like JMO, and I'd put Brees Hall a million years over A-Chain, even though I like him. You know what I mean?
Oh, yeah, man. It's okay, Love John. I got your back, and so does our happy tan.
I think that 25th, if that was a second, it would have been a lot better. For the other guy, Love John got it.
I feel like we're like in that scene from White Chicks where they're having the dance off, and me and Alex are on one side just busting out over here, and you guys are over there like doing the old
All right, next slide.
Scott's like moving on.
He's like, never seen it, never gonna.
Oh man! All right. So the next trade we got here, this happened on the 16th. This is from the Bahamut Dynasty League. So I don't know if I said that correct or not, but I like saying
Alex. Alex is in this one.
So yeah, we got our old Capitan here just in time to watch us break down his trade. We got TB76 and Alex. TB76 got Jalen Warren in the 2025 second from Alex, which Alex maybe can chime in and let us know where he's at so we know gauge on where that might fall. And he sent away my boy, a new Buffalo Bill, Amari Cooper.
Wait, so did this trade go through before the Cooper trade?
This happened on the 16th. So this was 2 days ago, which was actually right after the announcement. I would assume.
I feel like Alex won this one because I don't know what's going on with Jalen Warren.
That would be a late pick then, most likely, if he continues on the path he's headed.
Yeah, I even though I'm not the biggest Cooper guy, I think he's in a good situation. I like Alex getting Cooper, which is the best player in the deal. Warren's had a hard time staying healthy. He's only he's the second back on his team. And that's you said that was a third, right? Or a second?
It's a second, most likely
a late second, yeah, because he's 5-1. So yeah, I think that's if Cooper was just a pick, it would be what, like a early second, late first, maybe probably an early second.
Early second, mid second.
Yeah. Maybe in like a fourth or something to kind of little baby add on,
Yeah, so like I said,
the level player.
If TB needed running back or if he had Najee Harris and he just wanted to get his handcuff or whatever, I could see a good deal. But yes, if Alex being 5-1, he gets an alpha receiver tied to an elite quarterback. I like the deal.
Yeah, I think I would have pushed Alex a slightly bit more with the Cooper news and tried to get a little bit more out of him. Squeeze that lemon just a little bit more. I think Alex probably would have done it too. So I don't see any reason why he couldn't have tried to make that move on him. But I still think it's a good deal I think it's a slightly better deal for Alex because of that. But I don't hate it, especially if, like you said, he has Najee and he wants the cuff, or something like that's going on, then it makes more sense.
Yep. All right, next
one we got same league, Bahamut. This trade took place on the 18th, so this trade was actually today.
Super El Biesto's in there.
Yeah, Super El Biesto, another trade from our boy Super El Biesto and TB76 with B2B trades on our breakdowns here. I hope you're listening, buddy, because we're talking your teams. So this one, TB76 is going to get a whopping 4 players in this trade. He gets Christian McCaffrey, Zamir White, Jordan Mason, and Andre Losavas. He is sending to El Superbiesto, Derrick Henry, Joe Mixon, and Cooper Kupp.
The young for the old.
At first glance, I'm leaning El Superbiesto's route. Yeah, I think I still got to lean that route only because I only really see two players, McCaffrey, Mason, that really are like value to him. White, I think, has fallen off. Losavas, I don't think is going to be more than the third receiver. So I just don't see a lot of value other than the Mason McCaffrey stack. So the Henry Mixon Cup, even though it's dynasty, I'll take that, especially if I'm on a chasing the champ run like that. That makes you like legit best team in the league if that's the case.
Sarah, you want to go and then I'll go last?
Yeah, I agree. Henry and Mixon and Cup. That's obviously a win now trade, right? For
100%.
El Super Beasto. It's like, that's like, yes, I'm going to win this year because of these guys. Yeah, 100% for a win now. That's a great trade. Yeah, and you're right. The other side is like, I don't know anyone, like Zamir White is kind of worthless now. Like, well, people might be hopeful, or maybe he's got Madison, but like, yeah, like CMC is pretty much it.
Yeah, unless White and Losavas are there to protect like a Higgins and a Madison.
Yeah,
it's the only.
Labosios, yeah, he definitely did look a little more better this last week.
Right now, okay, so I give a lot of props to Super El Biesto because he was able to acquire these three players without giving up any young assets or draft picks, which he did a tremendous job. TB, I'm very disappointed that you did not get young draft picks or young players. I know Isavac is and White, but they're not elite young assets. You acquired, McCaffrey, which is an aging asset. And if you're going to give away your three very good players, even though they're a little older, I would have held Biesto's feet under the fire and I would have demanded youth and draft picks.
Yep.
Because if you're going to rebuild, you can't rebuild with the players that you just got. Unless Zamir White makes a huge turnaround and unless Higgins is gone next year and Josivac steps in that role and takes it over Burton, I don't think you got enough value back for those three guys. Giving those three guys away, you have to get youth and have to get future draft picks.
Some advice for next time is to split them up. Don't do all three of them in one deal. If you want to move those three older assets to try to build up for a future run, then trade each of them away individually or at minimum only two together on one deal. But don't pair all three of them in one trade and send them out. You'll get more value overall if you split them up.
Hey, Sean, did you see Alex's comment about the new trades that just got dropped in Discord?
When we get to the end of these ones, I will pull up Discord and we'll have it up there.
Okay. Yeah. We don't have a ton of time. So like I said, we still got to do some start sits. So we got about probably 25 minutes and that's about it.
Yep.
Okay. Well, we'll breeze through these here. I think we get close to the end. We're in the 69 battery range, which is the final trade. So I've been using the battery gauge on the screenshots as my telling me where we're at in the trades. This is another Bahamut Dynasty trade. This one also took place on the 18th. Now, I'm not sure 100% that these are taking place on the 18th or they were posted to our Discord on the 18th, guys. So don't hold me to the date. That's just what was posted on Discord when I pulled these off of there to discuss them. So this is a C-Bomb and TB76. This is the third trade in a row for TB76. That man is on the phones. Good for you, bro. So C-Bomb is going to get Evan Ingram, and TB76 in exchange for Ingram is going to receive Sean Tucker, Jatavion Sanders, and a 2025 third rounder.
Okay, well, I'll go through real quick. This isn't very difficult for me. I'm not gonna even worry about the 25 third. Tucker's the jury's still out on him. Sanders, jury's still out on him. The best player in the deal is Evan Ingram. He gets targeted a ton. I'm not going to say Trevor Lawrence is an elite quarterback, but he's an upper echelon quarterback to get tied to the tight end. And Ingram is definitely a workhorse when it comes to tight ends in that offense. So I'm taking the Ingram side all the way.
Yeah, easily. That I don't think he got enough for Ingram at all in that trade.
Yeah. Yeah, but keep working on it though, brother. You're getting closer. You're getting better at it, man. The only way to get better at this shit is to keep doing it. So definitely keep on keeping on. Next one up, we have Toothless. Much easier to say. This one took place on the 11th of October. This is between D Payne, one of our regulars, and Zach Wilson, fan 5, who hasn't changed his name yet. D Payne is getting Brian Robinson Jr., Josh Downs, and Spencer Rattler, and he is sending to Zach Wilson fan JJ McCarthy and Braylon Allen.
So quarterback, and then we got 2 running backs and a receiver.
This is another one of those win now team versus a team that is starting for a rebuild. At least that's what it looks like to me based on the players that were exchanged. And that took place on the 11th, so this was prior to Thursday's game and everything. So I feel like I understand why D Payne did it. I think I lean to the other side though for the long-term value.
Yeah, I'm gonna take the JJ McCarthy side. It's just slightly. I'd really like Braylon Allen a lot. If anything ever happens to Breece Hall, Braylon Allen's for sure a top 12 running back, RB1. So,
and Breece Hall was a second-round pick, right? So this is his 3rd year of a 4-year rookie deal. Am I wrong?
I think Breece Hall came in the league when he was like 20 or 21.
So I understand that, but the fact that he's on his 3rd year of a rookie deal.
Yeah, 3rd year.
If he finishes out this year and he's fighting for, contract and pulling the Jonathan Taylor or like the running backs do, where you want to get paid like you should, Braylon Allen could end up being the starter and he could be on a different team.
Yep. No, you're right. Yep. So I like the JJ side, just slightly, but yeah, I like it.
Same. Yeah, I definitely like that side too.
No,
it's pretty close.
This one was another toothless trade. This one took place on the 17th. So this was Jay Morris and Harper 1024 making a deal. Jay Morris gets Tank Dell and Drake May, and he is sending to Harper Chris Olave, Devon Achane, and a 2025 second.
Okay, this one's easy for me. You know how I am a quarterback whisperer. Mm-hmm. If there's quarterbacks involved, and I'm getting a quarterback and I don't have to give one up, I'm taking it. So Drake May looks good. He was a high draft capital. I'm taking Drake May. Tank Dell, good number 3 in that offense. Not super elite. I mean, I don't like giving Olave away, but I have no problem giving a Chan away. So yeah, I'm taking the quarterback all day.
Yeah, I'm with you on that. I think the way that it makes it like to where I'm happy with the other side is if I get a 2025 first and maybe I'll throw in a third if that's what I have to do to get to the first. But I would want the first rounder and the other 2 players, and then I'd be okay with it.
Yeah,
However,
I agree.
Are you saying that you would, if that second was a first, then you would make that better?
Yes.
Yeah, I totally agree. That's exactly what I was thinking. I was like, oh, and Drake May went in the first, so it's like, yeah, I totally agree with that. If that was a first, it would be I think I might take that other side, but yeah, I mean, Dell's solid. Drake's going to be good. Yeah, it's a good trade.
Yep. And like in this situation too, it's a good little like kind of talking point for people to understand. In that situation, if you get this offer and it's sent to you and you're like, man, I'm really close. I just don't want to give Drake May away without getting the first. Throw back the first and like a third. Give them a third and you take the first instead of the second. And then that way, like, it's very similar on there and they look at it like that's not much different to them. And it might give you what you need to just get over that hump to get that first. So stuff like that, just keep playing with it a little bit when you get close, because you never know what it's going to take to try to just get everybody to be happy.
Yep.
Another one for Toothless. We had a lot of trades in this league. This one happened on the 18th. This is Travis Kelce and Josh Jacobs, and this is Harper receiving them. He is trading with Echo FX, and Echo FX is getting Devon Achane, Trey Benson, and a 2025 second.
Okay, a lot of people getting rid of a Chan, and a lot of people like a Chan. So,
this is another good deal, I think. Man, we had a lot of good deals that I feel like are obvious, like, championship chaser versus rebuilder.
Yeah.
And, it seems like they have all done a pretty good job of like working with each other on helping, each team get good good return for their value here. I'm pretty close on this one, man. This might be a dead tie for me almost.
So what I would do is I'm gonna say I like the Chan side, and the reason why, but it's gonna be a 2-part thing. If I get those three, if I get a Chan and Benson with the second, and I'm giving away an older Kelsey, and then I do like Jacobs, but then I'm gonna turn around and I'm gonna sell a Chan and try to get myself like a young receiver, like swap like a Chan for like a young receiver. That's just because I don't like a Chan. So I would take the Chan side, and then I got my young running back in Benson. I got a second, and I'm gonna flip a Chan for a young. I'm gonna find somebody that loves a Chan and flip them for like an Addison or somebody like a young receiver.
I agree to an extent, except I would actually try to flip Benson personally.
Really? Because he's gonna be the one next year. Connor's probably gonna be gone.
I like Achan. I think Achan has like an upside that you're just undervaluing, in my opinion. So I think if I'm gonna move one of the two, it's gonna be Benson over Achan.
But you'll get more in a trade for a Chan than you will Benson.
Probably from the right owner, yes. So I guess you're right in that aspect. I would have more value coming from Achan. So I guess you're right in that aspect. I would definitely be chasing a different receiver if I'm shipping Achan instead of Benson. So that makes more sense in that aspect. Who would you go after? What receiver? Like give me like a Olave or London? Are you going that high?
Yeah, if I could get a London, I would do it in a second.
I would too. But do you think London is on the table for Achan in a second?
Well, maybe. I mean, I think I would take Olave for him.
I feel like that's a good spot to be. I mean, you might be able to get like a Puka right now with everything going on with him.
Yeah, you can. I mean, Chan was going in the third round in rookie in dynasty startups, third round maybe. I don't. I mean it. But yeah, I would be flipping him for a young receiver just because in dynasty receivers shelf life are a lot longer. So I don't need two young running backs. I mean, just give me the one that I think is going to be the starter next year and have the backfield to himself and Benson, and I'll flip a Chan, who, like I said, is always seems like he's going to be in a committee for a young receiver.
Let me ask you real quick, too, for that 20-25 seconds, say you keep Achan and Benson. For that 20-25 second, what young receiver do you think you could get that you would be happy with if you wanted to keep both the running backs? Like
I'd have to trade a second for a receiver.
Yeah, say you're going to send that 25 second out just alone. Who do you think is a good target? I got a guy in my mind right now. I'm curious to see if you say his name.
Waddle.
That's a good one. I think you'd have to add a little more to that second, but not a lot. But that's a good one. I was thinking you could easily snag Keon Coleman right now, I think.
Oh, yeah. Well,
I think you could.
I think I would go Waddle. I think I would just go Waddle just because he's at a low now too until Tua comes back.
Yeah, and you just got to get a little extra with Waddle. I think. You think you could actually pull Waddle for a second right now?
If that was like I don't know where that second would be. It's probably. I mean, I'm assuming it's probably like a mid or a late.
For the talk purposes, let's call it a mid pick.
Man, I think you could if you hit the right owner.
Man, that'd be a steal. I think
it'd be a steal, but I mean, would you do like a? I mean, I think you probably get it done for like a second and a fourth.
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking. You have to throw in a fourth, or maybe like a Malachi Corley, or like one of those younger receivers that's not doing a lot right now, but maybe potential kind of guy that somebody might like.
Yeah,
but that's all. I think that's what you would have to do. I don't know if a second would get it done by itself, but it would be a good try. I would definitely make that attempt. If you're out there and you got a second rounder and you want to ship it off for a Waddle right now, make an effort at it. Let us know how it plays out for you.
Exactly. Sarah, you got anything on this?
I would like the A-Chain side. That's all I'll say about it.
Okay.
I like the youngins.
Sarah likes her young running backs. So this is another trade in our Toothless League. Man, that league was hopping. So we got this trade take place. It says the 18th again. Don't quote me on the dates. This was Seabaum and Harper again making another move. These guys were probably just on the phone all week, just chatting the whole time. This is like their third trade, I feel like. So Seabaum is going to get T. Higgins in this deal, and in exchange for T. Higgins, he is sending to Harper Deebo Samuel, Trey Sermon, and a 2026 fourth.
So I'm noticing Seabaum, the way he sets up his trades. He basically wants, a good player back, and he's going to give you a good player back, but he's going to give you a couple pieces of trash with it too.
Yeah, to make you feel like it's special. Yeah, he's going to give you a free gift. He's he's totally pulling the the infomercial style. If you order now, I'll throw in this extra piece here.
Exactly. Yep, for sure. So he's actually basically the way this trade's breaking down is he's selling an old asset receiver in Deebo, because Deebo I think is going to be maybe 28. I think Higgins isn't that much younger, but he is, I think, 26, and he's probably banking on Higgins going to a team where he'll be immediately installed as the WR1, and then with Ricky Pearsall coming in, Deebo will be fighting for targets with him along with Ayuk. So I like the Higgins side. I'm a big T. Higgins fan. We need him to go to a different team next year, somewhere where he can be the true alpha, and hopefully be careful what you ask for, because he's got to be tied to a good quarterback. He's leaving Joe Burrow, so hopefully he ends up somewhere.
There's a good quarterback in upstate New York that has an aging receiver that's probably not going to be on the team next year. So, we could always use him in the red, white, and blue.
Yeah, there you go. Yeah, Bills.
Could you imagine a T. Higgins on a Josh Allen squad? Woo, doggies.
Yeah, I'll take the unpopular opinion on this trade. I would take the Deebo side.
Take the Deebo side.
I have a very unpopular opinion about Higgins, so
I bet you'd like. I bet you'd like Higgins in those powdered blues, though, Sarah, wouldn't you?
Okay, then I would finally like Higgins.
Yeah, right. You replace QJ with Higgins. All of a sudden, you're a giant Higgins fan.
I know, right?
Sarah's gonna have a jersey on next time we see her. Higgins.
I don't think that they're going to take any more wide receivers on my damn team.
What's up, Connor? We're talking about your trade, and I don't know, Demario Douglas. We didn't say he was aging, so I don't know where. Yeah,
he's not even in on this. He's talking about Deebo Samuel, buddy, not Demario Douglas.
Yeah, Deebo. All right, next
offer we got. This is the non-Ballsville TEP league. So this is tight end premium. For those of you that don't know, that means the tight end gets an extra point for PPR or extra half point, depending on your setup. So this is a trade between a guy named Sabby and a guy named Nick Tugas. So Sabby is getting Travis Kelce, Jalen Waddle, Brian Robinson, a 2026 third and a 2025 fourth, and he is sending away a measly Derrick Henry and Trey McBride. So I think you guys can tell by my sarcastic tone there what side that I'm leaning towards. I think I kind of like the Trey McBride and the Derrick Henry side, because in a TEP league, good tight ends are gold, they're platinum, they're titanium. So a guy like Trey McBride is not somebody that you just throw away on willy-nilly.
Yeah, I don't know. I think it's closer than what you think. Is that Derrick? Oh, that's Derrick Henry?
Yeah, Derrick Henry.
It looked like, I thought it was Hunter Henry. Okay.
Oh,
right.
No.
Okay, no. I still think it's kind of close, though, because I do like Jalen Waddle and I do like Brian Robinson. I don't really care about the thirds and fourths. But I'm slightly gonna lean the McBride side, though, because I do like the King. I love the King. I think he's gonna be there a couple more years, and I've always said, even way before the season, Derrick Henry, he was gonna just fall in the end zone 10 times. So he's already on pace to score freaking 20 touchdowns. So I like the Derrick Henry side. But it is a little closer than it's not way out of the water.
I agree. It's definitely close because of Waddle and honestly Kelce too. But I definitely. It's like McBride. He's one of my favorite tight ends. So I'm definitely not. It's happy to see him go for and not have like a first in there somewhere.
Oh, so Connor said the joke went over a head. He said that there's a great quarterback in upstate New York with an aging quarterback. I was making a Drake May is a great quarterback and Josh Allen wasn't.
Drake May's not even in upstate New York though. That doesn't fit.
I don't know.
It's all right, Connor.
All right, next slide.
Misses every now and then.
All right, roll.
And that is it. So give me one
Okay.
second to pull up this Discord trade that Alex is mentioning.
Okay.
That just popped right now. So this is where we get our trades from, guys. So if you're not in on this Discord right now, you should be, because if you have a trade you want us to talk about, you post it up in here and we're going to go over it at some point. All right. So please go ahead and continue to post these trades in here. We really appreciate them.
And if anyone has any start-sit questions, put them in now because we got about 10 minutes.
So in this trade, it's going to be hard for you guys to see, so I'll read it off to you real quick. We've got Red Kingdom 10 making a trade with Jimbo's Bimbos. Our buddy Jimbo's Bimbos. Good to see you're able to make trades and everything's going okay for you, man. I hope you're doing good up there. You got Travis Kelce, Devontae Adams, and Josh Allen going to Red Kingdom 10 in exchange for Bucky Irving, Kirk Cousins, Darnell Mooney, a 2025 first, a 2026 first, and a 2025 second and third. Right?
And what were the first three guys?
Travis Kelce, Devontae Adams, and Josh Allen sent to Red Kingdom for Bucky Irving, Kirk Cousins, Darnell Mooney, 2 firsts, a second, and a third.
All right, this is a blockbuster trade.
I got to lean on the JA17 side, baby.
I'm taking the best player in the deal. It's Josh Allen. He's worth it.
Yeah. I mean, he got Josh Allen for Kirk Cousins, a 2025 first and a 2026 first, if you kind of look at it that way. And I feel like that's kind of a steal. You could even add like the 2025 second in there, and it would still be a good value. So then you got Devontae Adams and Travis Kelce for Bucky Irvin, Darnell Mooney in a third.
Yeah. No, Josh Allen's worth it.
So yeah, I'm with you on that. I mean, it's not out of the water bad, you know what I mean? It's not so far off or anything, but it's definitely for me. Obviously, I'm an Allen truther, so I always want to lean that way, and this one makes it a little easier for me.
Yeah, for sure. Sarah,
I don't think it's that far off. I always try to look at it as, why are we trying to sell these guys? That's clearly trying to rebuild, right? I mean, like he's getting that 25 first, second, and third, and Cousins and Mooney, and then obviously Bucky. So like, getting Bucky for a young guy and everything. I don't think it's that far off, but I can't not take a trio like Josh Allen, Kelce, and Adams coming at you.
I would have wanted a different quarterback. Like if there was more upside quarterback available than Kirk Cousins.
If he would have got somebody like Jared Goff, I think I would have been
right.
Yep.
And what's funny is that first, second, and third after that trade is going to be so late. Like, I mean, you just give up like three top
those
guys.
First, second, and thirds are going to be a late pick if these guys pan out the way he's hoping. So
he would have needed a quarterback that's gonna be in the league for another 3 or 4 more years. With Cousins, I don't know with Penix there.
Yeah, he might have Penix.
Now, if he would have traded him, Cousins and Penix, and you could lock up the Falcons quarterback carousel, then it looks a little bit better. But you're losing Josh Allen, you're getting a rental basically in Cousins, and now you're left without a stud quarterback. I mean, you just downgraded. I mean, even though you did get those firsts, like Sarah said, they're not going to be early firsts where you can replenish at the quarterback position. In a super flex league, the quarterbacks are going to be gone by pick 5 or 6. So you're going to have to package maybe, obviously his first will be an early first so we can grab a quarterback, but I want another early first so I can grab 2 quarterbacks at that point.
I think unless he's planning on, which if you're not, maybe think about this as an option, is turn around and flip Cousins and that first, and even the second if you have to try to snag somebody who you can get, like maybe a Kyler Murray might be a valuable asset you could snag right now on the low, or somebody like that, that he could maybe turn around and flip. And then this trade looks better, right? If you take Kirk Cousins and the 2025 first, and then you replace that with Kyler Murray, I'm not hating on it as much. So, that might be something to consider.
Or considering he's probably going to have an early first, which he'll be able to grab a quarterback. Then you could take that 26 first, which will be, or 25 first, that'll be late. 26 first, that'll probably be late. Take both those firsts and trade them and get back up into the top 4 in 2025 and grab another quarterback. So now you grab 2 quarterbacks right off the flip, because next year you're going to have, 4 really good quarterbacks coming out. So that's what I would do if you can get it done. All right. Now we're going to get into some start sits if we have any. I saw one was that you, Sarah, that put in Parkinson or Noah Brown?
Yeah.
So you got a tight end and you have a receiver flex spot. So I will go to the Ballsville Ultimate Matchup tool that you can find on the ballsvillegame.com. And I'm going to go to the Rams. And the Rams tight end position is the number 22 matchup, which is not very good. It's a red color box. And I will go to Washington, who's playing Carolina. And the receiving core is the number 4 matchup tool for the week. So that looks like it's going to be a high-scoring game. Washington's implied team total is almost 30 points. So I'm taking Noah Brown. I'll put him on flex. Okay. What about you, Sean?
Yeah, I think I'm going to go with Noah Brown. I think that he's shown that he's a reliable target for Jaden, and Jaden likes throwing him the ball. So I think I'm going to go that route. I think the return of Kupp is going to add a little bit of, hurt for Parkinson in a way. I think Parkinson's kind of been like a necessity receiver for them, not so much like somebody they really want to make sure they get involved. So I'd be more on that Noah Brown side, because he seems like he's actually like meant to be a part of that offense, not just has to be a part of that offense.
Okay. All right.
I like it.
How about anybody else got any start sits? Come on, throw them in there. I know there's only a few people in the chat, but you got any, Sean?
I'm trying to think of some good ones right now that are really messing with me in my leagues. Let's do Kamini Vidal or Alexander Madison.
Okay, so Vidal looks like LA's at Arizona. Pretty low scoring, over under at 44. But the matchup tool says Vidal would be a number 8 matchup this week. The other one was Madison, who's the Vegas Raiders. Team total's only 18. They're playing at the Rams. 43. That's a low over under. But that matchup's number 10. So 8 and 10. So it's pretty much even. So what I usually do is I kind of look at like game script. So you got the Rams at Vegas, 6.5. So Vegas is probably going to be playing from behind. Over under's low. And then Vidal, the Chargers, it's 2.5 point spread. So the game should be pretty close. I'm thinking Vidal probably won't get game scripted out. So I'm going to go with Vidal. Sarah?
Right.
Wait, who's the first guy again?
Kamini Vidal or Alexander Madison?
Oh, thank you. That's tough because Madison's actually played pretty well while Zamir's been out. And Vidal is definitely a number 2, and Madison might be the number 1. I love my Chargers, but I think that I wouldn't risk that because I think Dobbins getting way more of those touches. So I would play Madison. I would play Madison.
There you go. What about you, Sean?
Honestly, it's hard. I think I probably would lean Madison only because he is the for sure one back in that offense, and Vidal is still going to be like the satellite back per se. So I think that the upside is higher with Vidal, but the floor is higher with Madison. So depending on the position you're in, where you're at. I mean, if you need to shoot for the moon because you're playing against a team that's just got like a team that's is going to be tough to beat, I'd probably just shoot for the moon and go for the upside of Vidal and sit Madison. But if I'm like, hey, I just need to make sure I get 8 to 10 points minimum out of this guy so that I can at least get to where I need to be in order to beat this low level team, then I'm playing Madison. So it's not so much matchup as far as who they're actually competing against in real life in the NFL. It's matchup who I'm competing against in that league and what I think I need.
Right. So, all right. Well, if we don't have any more questions, I just want to explain, so a situation like that, and I'm going to bring up the tools again in our website at theballsvillegame.com and how I try to set up my DFS lineups every week is, DFS, when you're playing tournaments, it's all about being contrarian. You want low ownership. and then in cash games, you want high ownership, to play in those games. So, usually I'll bring up the matchup tool and I'll look for, matchups that are in my favor, and then look at players that are like low ownership. So, like, for example, like Vidal, he's going to be probably very low owned, satellite back, somebody that's probably going to be very cheap. You could throw in your flex. He has a good matchup. So that'd be somebody that's probably going to be like 1% to 2% owned that you could throw in as a tournament and get all your big guys in. And if he pops off, he pops off. So yeah, that's kind of what you do is when you're trying to set these lineups. And like I said, when you go to the tool page, we'll have our DFS stuff on there. Go to the matchup tool, and you can kind of use these tools together to put lineups together and even your weekly lineups together. So it helps out a lot. I use it, like I said, all the time, and we've had a lot of winners, people making money on our sites. So definitely look into it. One other thing before I get out of here, before we all get out of here, I was going to wait till Tuesday, but I'm not. Because of the hurricane, we have some players that were drastically affected. So we decided as a community that on October 27th, we are going to have a Ballsathon. I just made that up. What we're going to do is we are going to be live on YouTube from 1 o'clock until 7 o'clock Eastern Standard Time. We will be watching Red Zone. We'll have different personalities on, like, for example, Sean and I will start. We'll do a 2-hour block. We'll have another 2 personalities on for another 2 hours and another 2 personalities on. We'll have people popping in and out. We'll just be going over games, talking, watching Red Zone, certain games, talk about fantasy players throughout the whole day. And we'll also be doing a fundraiser GoFundMe page for everyone, the players that in Ballsville that were affected from the hurricane. We're hoping to raise, we want to set a goal of $5,000. We're going to start running it this weekend and going all the way until next weekend, and it will end at 7 p.m. So if you could, anything would help out. It's been very devastating. Me being a Floridian, my house was spared. A lot of people lost everything, like pretty much just everything they owned. So and then some people, not only did they get hammered the first time, but then a week later they got hit a second time. So it's very devastating. It's very upsetting. But us as a Ballsville community, we're about helping, and we want to do that fundraiser for the people that were affected, and every penny will go directly to the people that were affected in this hurricane. We are not taking any of this money, and so we just want to help out our community. So anything, even if it's $5, anything will help out. So we'll get that. More information will come out for Tuesday, and we'll lead you guys in the right direction. Hopefully you guys can come on and watch us when we do the pod and donate a little for the people that are in need. So until anything else to say, you guys, before we take off?
No, I'm really excited about that. I definitely want to try to raise as much as we can. This devastation that's happened out there, man. I don't know if you guys have been watching the video, Scott. I'm sure you've seen a lot of it too. It's brutal, man. These poor people are going through so much, and the insurance situations for people in these scenarios is not always 100% up to par where they're going to get what they need in order to be back to normal. So, we got to try to help where we can, right? So let's do what we can here, guys, and try to donate as much as possible. Don't break yourself. Don't eat ramen for a week because you donated, but help if you can. And just be there and join the fun. The Sunday thing that we're doing, we really want to make sure that it's a fun, open community vibe. We're going to be talking about football that's going to be happening live. We're going to be doing kind of a block party style. If anybody wants to come in and you're in our Discord, we're going to have a link for you guys so you can jump in. If you want to come and hang out for a few minutes and say hi, you're welcome to do that. We want this to be as inclusive as possible and allow for everybody to enjoy themselves for a good cause, so that we can try to earn as much as possible and all have a great time in the process.
And just to give you guys a little background, like how insurance is run in Florida. So when you insure your house in Florida, everyone has to have hurricane insurance. And basically, if you make a claim, you have to pay 2% of your house value. So for example, my insurance, I have a $10,000 deductible. So if I make a claim, I have to pay $10,000 before I get any money sent to me. And a lot of these people down there, even if they make claims, they may not see any money for like 2, 3, 4 months. So they, and a lot of people may not have a big amount of money to pay their deductible. So any little bit will help. That's how insurance is run in Florida. That's just the way it is, living in a state like that. So like Sean said, anything will help. But please come and support us on October 27th when we do our Ballsathon. So for my
even
coach,
if you can't donate, support the Ballsathon and join in with us, because we're gonna have some fun and we want all you guys to enjoy yourselves too.
Yep. So for my coach Sean, for Sarah, our producer Sarah M21, and until Tuesday, gamers, have a great weekend, win a lot of money, and we'll see you next week. We're out.
That's a wrap.
We're good.
All right.